Wakisashi's Tea House. Ohayou gozaimasu. Good morning. This is Gray from Wakisashi's Tea House over in Japan. How are you doing? Are you good? I'm not that great. I'm kind of feeling... Oh, sorry. There we go. I'm kind of feeling like this on the inside. That picture of fantastic Bob Odenkirk from the amazing movie that I finally saw yesterday. Nobody. Have you seen it? I've been hearing how good it is and I've been waiting for it to come out on streaming in Japan. It's taken ages and it came out last week. So yesterday, guys and girls out there, I was feeling really rough. I was feeling like Bob Odenkirk looks there on the inside. I was feeling like that. No, I didn't get into any fights, don't worry, but the drink kind of took control of me on Saturday night. I went to the local, well, fairly local Belgian beer bar. You know that Belgian beer is strong. God. It was a great night, but next day, just having some tea from the tea house. I've got some green tea today, some genmaicha. Anyway, the next day I had the weirdest hangover. It wasn't like a regular one where you got a terrible headache and you feel like you're going to be sick. I felt like what do you call it? I'm being honest here, yeah. I had a fast heart. My heart was going, what do you call it? Rapid heartbeat. And I looked into it on Google and it was like, yeah, don't worry, this can happen if you've had too much to drink. It just means, you drank too much or you didn't get enough sleep. And I felt like I was a little bit high all day. When you first coming up on a pill or on speed or something. It was so weird. Anyway, there's my Monday morning confession from Japan. It's 5:34 a.m. here. I've been up since 4:30. I just woke up really early, stupidly early. Couldn't get back to sleep. So came down and thought I'd do a quick stream before I go to work. So, oh, hey, no way. Nosferatu, good morning. Max, good morning. Nice to see you. How are you? Cheers. No, it's not sake. It's really is green tea this morning. So yeah, it was a very interesting weekend. I enjoyed it, but the Belgian beer kind of creeps up on you because you're slowly drinking bottles, but they're like 8 to 10%, the higher ones. And I thought I was okay until until later, then. Anyway, it's one of those nights where you don't remember getting home. Oh, have you had those nights? Do you know what I'm talking about? Oh, Nosferatu says, that's exactly how I felt when it first hit me. Oh, really? Are you talking about the coof? Oh, no. Yeah, well, there's always that as well in the background. I don't have it, touch wood, but I was out Friday night, in a very small bar. Only 3 people in there, including me. So, not a crowded place, but I left myself open, maybe. Don't wear a mask in a bar in Japan. You don't have to, It's really, what do you call it? It's very good over here. It's very voluntary. Most people do. They wear it. But when you go go inside somewhere, sometimes you've got to get your temperature checked by one of those automatic, looks like a pad, an iPad or something, and it does your temperature. It zaps you with some kind of crazy brain ray. But anyway, this place doesn't have that. And the barman, the owner, he was coughing, he was a bit rough. He was like taking throat candy and drinking like warm water and ginger ale and stuff like that. It's like, oh no, I think he just had a cold. That's what he said. He's just tired. He's been working for something like 2 weeks without a day off. He's been going for it because his bars are new. So, well, you never know. Nosferatu or Max, maybe next few days I might have it. Might finally find out what it's all about. Or I might just get a cold. Or the flu. Remember the flu? Anyway, today's stream, I want to talk a little bit about this. Hagakure, which translates as, it's so beautiful, so Japanese, in the shadow of leaves. Wow. Book of the Samurai. This was written back in between 1710 to 1717, I think. Can you believe it? And the author's got a great name. Yamamoto, which is it's a surname, family name, a very popular name in Japan. Yamamoto Tsunetomo. I struggle to say the TSU sound in Japanese. It's like tsu. It's not tu, it's TSU. So I'll try and say it. Tsunetomo. Anyway, it's very cool. I don't know if you've seen the movie. This is going back years. Have you seen Ghost Dog with Forrest Whitaker? He uses this book in that movie and like quotes from it and talks about it. And it was years later that I got it. Like when I finally came over to Japan, I wanted to see what it was about. It's really good. It's interesting. It's it's a bit dated, of course, but it says in the back. Let's let me read from the back a little bit. It's a manual for the samurai classes. Not me then. Consisting of a series of short anecdotes and reflections that give both insight and instruction in the philosophy and code of behaviour that foster the true spirit of bushido, the way of the warrior. And then it goes on, it's not a book of philosophy as most would understand it. It's a collection of thoughts and sayings recorded over a period of 7 years. And it covers such wide variety of subjects that they can't describe it. So it's about everything, really. And it says here the idea that bushido is a way of dying. Wow, sounds a bit scary. But it's not just about dying, it's about so much more. Okay, let me check the chat. Thanks, Nosferatu. Feels like the body high of an acid trip, but all the same, all the time. Hail to you both. Max, nice to see you, mate. How are you doing? Read any good comics? I read a fantastic comic last week, apart from King Spawn issue 6. I read The Crimson Cage issue 2. That crazy American pro wrestling seen through the lens of Macbeth story. It's so good, and it's dark, it's quite horrific, but it's funny as well. The art's great. Urtum says, I've been feeling run down, but I'm trying to get some rest and take care of myself. Well, cheers. Have some green tea, Urtum. It really does work. It makes you feel better. Not too much caffeine, so you don't get the same buzz as a coffee, but it's full of, I can't remember what the thing is that's in tea, in the green tea leaves, which is really good. Nasratu says, I still have to watch Better Call Saul. Yeah, I started watching it. And you know what? I didn't get into it like Breaking Bad. I found it boring to start with. But I've got a good friend in Manchester, one of my old mates, Nick, and he said, no, you've got to stick with it. Stick with it because it gets better and better and just keeps getting better. So I think I went back to it and I carried on. I got to about the end of, is it the end or maybe halfway through season 2? So no, I haven't finished it. What do you guys think out there? Have you seen it? No, people keep saying it's brilliant, but it is different too. It's not, another Breaking Bad, of course. It's much slower. It's a real character study, which is good, which we could use a lot more of, couldn't we, these days, like a well-written character study. Okay, Max says he read Silver Surfer Rebirth and enjoyed it. Just a fun escapism read. Okay, that's great. The other day I was reading from Usagi Yojimbo. I'm always trying to champion Usagi Yojimbo. You know what I'm like. Let's see if I can put where are we? Not this one, but I was reading the very first crossover between Usagi Yojimbo and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or in the UK, the Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles. It's so crazy that I was talking about that on the last stream, that the BBC censored the word ninja because apparently you weren't allowed to say ninja to on kids' TV, and they even changed the theme song, and there was no, you couldn't see any nunchucks. They edited all the scenes out with nunchucks. I don't know how they did it. Crazy BBC. Anyway, that's another story. But yeah, Usagi Yojimbo and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles back in 1986 or 87 it was. Very short story. I read it on my last live stream. It's quite funny, but the last live stream was hilarious because no fault of hers, but my wife, she works Saturday daytime, yeah, and it was her lunch break, so she'd come down to make some lunch, and you can hear her in the background, like. So I was like, don't worry about it, it shouldn't come out too much, but it can't be helped. You've got to eat. That was her break, so yeah. But it was like crazy. She seemed to be going mad, like rustling bags, and the microwave was going, which was okay. But oh man, it was hilarious. I think Nosferatu saw it. He was kind of laughing at me, saying, "Gray, it's hilarious this." But it didn't sound too bad. It just sounded like I had the aircon on in the background, which I didn't. It was a microwave and the missus in the kitchen making a quick lunch. Sorry, darling. I didn't mean it. Okay, Max. Oh, sorry, Nosferatu. The fact there hasn't been a good Fantastic Four movie is ridiculous. Aren't they supposed to be making one? That's what I've heard. I don't know if it's going to be a movie or a series. taking forever, aren't they? I've heard a common complaint is that they haven't even introduced Doctor Doom, in any of the movies, any of the Marvel Universe. They should have set him up already, because he's a great villain. He's a villain I'm not that familiar with myself, but, he could do with it. Girls Gotta Eat, yeah, that's right. So that was Usagi Yojimbo, sorry. So yeah, let's get back to, where are we? Where's the Hagakure cover? There we go. Is that the one? Yeah. Oh, and Better Call Saul just come back on as well. But nobody, if you've seen it yet, it's so good. I couldn't believe it. I'd heard it was good, but it's like, yeah, very, very, very good. Where are we? I've lost me. Okay, Usagi's in the way. Get out of the way, Usagi. Okay, there we go. Just let me read a little bit from this one, from the first chapter. Okay. It says here, the way of the samurai is found in death. Be careful. When it comes to either or, there's only the quick choice of death. It's not particularly difficult. Really? Be determined and advance. To say that dying without reaching one's aim is to die a dog's death is the frivolous way of sophisticates. Wow, lovely language. When pressed with the choice of life or death, it's not necessary to gain one's aim. We all want to live, and in large part we make our logic according to what we like. But not having attained our aim and continuing to live is cowardice. So he thought, Mr. Yamamoto. Where are we? This is a thin, dangerous line. To die without gaining one's aim is a dog's death and fanaticism. But there's no shame in this. Oh, okay. Thank God for that. So just a little bit more. It's almost finished. This is the substance of the way of the samurai. If by setting one's heart right every morning and evening, one is able to live as though his body were already dead, he gains freedom in the way. His whole life will be without blame, and he or she will succeed in his calling. So it sounds like, it's talking about the killing yourself. We've talked about this before, seppuku or harakiri, ritual suicide, but it's not just about that now. It's about, the more you read of it, the more it talks about living in the moment. You've got to to achieve your aim, but live your best life, basically. What do you think? So what I was thinking, I'm going to try and do these live streams. They're only going to be short because it's Monday morning before work. I'm going to read just a little selection from this each time I do one. So yeah, interesting book. I've also had this for a while. I don't know if you know Musashi Miyamoto, the famous Japanese swordsman. He wrote this book. It's called The Book of Five Rings. I told you, not those kind of rings, mate. Not right, what you're saying. Yeah, so this is a very, very good kind of philosophical book as well. It's not just about fighting and strategy. It's, it's about life and living, and it's cool. And even Hagakure, in this, it talks a lot about tea, the way of tea. Chado, the way of tea. So yeah, it's a nice mix. Okay, let's get back to the chat. Where are we? Roberto Ramos. Hey, how are you doing, mate? Good morning. Morning from Japan. Ohayo. Genki. Are you Genki? Are you good? I've been interested in reading the Book of Five Rings. Yeah, I need to reread it because it's been years. I got it not long after I moved over here. Maybe 10, 15 years ago I've had it. So, and Hagakure. That's why I'm kind of doing these streams. I'm going to slowly read through it, little by little. Japanese people were the first emos. What are you saying? Yeah, speaking of emos, let me... That's right, what you like. Let me show you a fantastic picture of a samurai. Here we go. This is a real one. This is off the Wikipedia page. In full armor. Look at that. Don't you think that's awesome? You can't quite see his emo face because he's got a mask on as well as the fantastic helmet, with the antlers, and it looks a bit like the one they used in Last Samurai, doesn't it? Do you remember? Was it Taka's husband that Tom Cruise kills in the beginning? Okay. No worries, Max. See you later. Thanks for dropping in. Take it easy, mate. You take care. As I say, it's only going to be a short one. I'm going to finish about 6 a.m, just after 6 my time, so 30 minutes is the plan. Oh, hello, mate. The Islamic. It's still there. That's great. Have you read them both? This one, I recommend them both. They're very interesting. There's some little bit bonkers stuff in there, of course, but it gives you a real insight into the way people thought back then, you know, the way people lived in Japan. And it's not all about, you know, death and fighting and war. There's a lot of celebration of life, as I say, like living in the moment. You know, that's so important, isn't it? I think it's something that we can easily like forget, you know, how to do, or just lose track of. Centering yourself, you know, mindfulness. I was talking to my brother last night, Mick. Thank you, mate. He really helped me out when I was in a bit of a bad place yesterday. So he was saying, like, you know, practice a bit of mindfulness. Go out for a walk. This is when I had the crazy rapid heartbeat. It's like, go out for a walk. You know, you'll probably calm down and just try and center yourself. Like, think about nothing. Just like count your steps, or, you know, in your head say like I'm walking. I'm here. You know, this is now. I'm here. I'm walking. I'm okay. And it did help. I went out, it was like about 5:30 p.m. It was almost dark, because it gets dark still quite early here. I walked down to the inland sea, which is only about 5-minute walk away, and it was weird. It was a weird night. It was kind of misty, a bit weird, you know, like damp. It had been raining, but it had stopped, luckily. So I went, and yeah, it felt much better afterwards. So listen to me, waffling on like I know what I'm talking about. Okay, take it easy, Max. Oh, beautiful armor, isn't it? Yeah. You wonder how heavy it was. You know, you had the traditional, like the English knights, where they've got it all made out of metal. That must have been so heavy, didn't they? They used to have to like hoist them up, didn't they, onto the horses sometimes. But this one, they could ride in it, you know. So it's obviously not metal. So cool. Finding the weak spot maybe was difficult, wasn't it, when they're wearing the armor? Congrats on 400. Max, thanks. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. It was really close. It was like, I was like around three in the 390s for a bit. And I'm not sure what happened. I got to 398. And then when I went out Saturday night, I got two. I met two like random Japanese strangers in the bar. So I was like, hey, do you watch YouTube? And then it's like, I've got a channel. They're like, really? So it's like, it's not very interesting though. You know, it's a bit boring. It's just about comics and stuff. They're like, no, tell us what it is and we'll subscribe. You know, I was like, yeah, great. You know, don't have to watch it, but a subscription is brilliant. So they both subscribed and it went up to 400. And then I got back home and it was $3.99. so maybe someone had changed their mind. But I know what it's like, YouTube. It's up and down, isn't it? If you're still there, she knows about that with her channel, Positive Fandom. You're doing well, aren't you, if you're still here? Doing well. Max is flying at the moment. Max, it won't be long, I think, till you get up to, you know, 8, 9. The fabled, difficult to reach 1,000. My goal is, I know, and it's probably too soon, because I've heard it can take 2 or 3 years, but my goal is by December, yeah, by the end of the year, I want to get over 1,000. Come on, Gray, you can do it. I just don't know enough people. That's the problem. And my social media presence is pretty small. I don't really like Twitter. I'm only on it occasionally. I don't know what you think about that. And Facebook, I just post links to my things, and it gets no interaction at all. I maybe get a view, 1 or 2 views for my blog, my WordPress blog, which, by the way, self-promotion, it's called not Wakizashi's Tea House. I changed the name. In the Tea House, a Wakizashi. Original, right? I changed the name so it was a little bit different from the YouTube channel. Are you still here? Okay, great. That's nice to hear from you. Thanks. And Thislamic says he's still reading Book of 5 Rings. That's right, mate. That's the good thing about it, is you can just kind of drop in and out, don't you? Drop into it, and you don't have to read it in one go. That'd be silly. Just take your time with it. So cool. Anything here that just like stands out? What does it say? But yeah, apparently they were using this in American businessmen were using it. Is it back in the 80s? I don't know if it's 70s or 80s. Like, supposedly for, you know, the lessons in strategy were really good for business as well. So what do you think? Running a business like a military operation. Sounds familiar. Sounds like some of the places I've worked in Japan. Okay. Gray, you need to stir up a controversy for the views. Challenge Jake Paul to a fight. God, I don't even know who that is. Whew, sorry, over my head. I certainly wouldn't challenge this guy to a fight. Let me show you one more I have. Where are we? No, not that one. Oh, there's a beautiful samurai art. Look at this. This is traditional art. I used to like this when I was younger, when I was a teenager, when I was getting into all things Japan. I loved their style of painting. It was very, like, I think it's watercolor based, isn't it? Just like ink and wash, do you call it? Pen and wash. So beautiful, so pretty. Yeah, what do you think? Great armor there again. I don't know what it says. I can't read the kanji very much. I can read some kanji, but unfortunately not that many. I've just been too lazy to learn them all. Thank you. You're welcome. It looks to be medium-scaled armor. They usually have more mobility around the joints. Yeah, exactly. That's right. They didn't wear too much. It was mainly, I think they wanted to protect here, because you can imagine the sword coming down here. So this was always protected. The helmet, of course, chest armor, and guards on the arms, and maybe on the thighs as well. I don't know if they went down to the shin, maybe the shins too. Can you imagine that time? What was it like? It must have been crazy, mustn't it, to live in that time? Yeah. What's your favourite samurai movie? Not Last Samurai, right? Tom Cruise. Oh, thanks, Nosferatu. He says Jake Paul is a dumb YouTuber that fought Floyd Mayweather. Really? Did he actually fight him? No way. That's crazy. The Islamic says, have you ever watched Ghost Dog? Yeah, mate, I was talking about that earlier on. That's what put me onto this. It's an old film, but it's really good, isn't it? Forrest Whitaker. Forrest Whitaker being a samurai, but not in ancient Japan, in the wherever it was set, in a modern city in America. Which reminds me, I need to rewatch that. I enjoyed it. But yeah, he used to read from it and quote from it in the movie. Just in a random page open, listen to this. This is page 47. It is said that even after one's head has been cut off, he can still perform some function. Ladies. This fact can be known from the examples of Nita Yoshisada and Ono Doken. How shall one man be inferior to another? Mitani Jokyu said, even if a man be sick to death, he can bear up for 2 or 3 days. Nosferatu! You can still do it, mate. You can make it. You can fight. You can take down that samurai. Don't worry. Wow. Scary. Scary stuff. Okay, how are we doing? As I say, this is only going to be a shortish stream. Oh, 22 minutes. Okay, I want to go for 30, so maybe if I can do it, great. If I can keep waffling for another 8 minutes. I'm going to try. Let me have a look. Usagi Yojimbo. So yeah, crazy weekend. A lot of fun. Let's get back to that samurai. Boom. So good. Yeah, I recommend Ghost Dog, as I say, and I recommend Nobody, which I saw yesterday, finally, after all this time. So good. How violent does it get, Nobody? I knew it was pretty brutal and realistic. If you haven't seen it, I won't spoil anything, but I just got to say, the main character's dad is awesome. He's awesome in it. He's a familiar face, which I'm sure anyone who's watched movies over the last 30, 40 years will know. I was like, no way. Look at him. And he was great in the part. I have to check it out. Yeah, it's cool. I wonder if you can get it on streaming anywhere. I've not seen it for so many years. It wasn't a big movie. It was like an indie movie. Need to rewatch it. And talking about samurai movies, Shogun. Have you seen Shogun, the old series? Was it Richard Chamberlain? Was it, or Clayderman? I was getting mixed up. My favourite movie might be Seven Samurai. Yeah, Nosferatu. That's right. We talked about that, didn't we, in the past? That's a great movie. Seven Samurai. I mean, not just for the action, which is of course awesome. It's the characters in Seven Samurai. It's so good. The characters are well developed. It's quite a long movie, I know, but each one is distinctive. Seven Samurai, and you've got the villagers, the people, some of there. Yeah. Years later, I watched Ran, R-A-N, Ran. Have you seen that? It's basically Kurosawa's version or take on King Lear, but set in feudal samurai Japan. No, I've not seen that for years either. It went a bit off my head when I first saw it when I was younger. It was kind of like, whoa, because it's, I guess, Shakespearean tragedy, but I need to rewatch that as well. I think I've heard from Robert Meyer Burnett was talking about, has it come out on 4K? They've done a beautiful re-release of it. I don't, maybe so. But I don't have 4K anyway, so what am I talking about? I'd like to see it on Blu-ray. I haven't done a live stream on my own channel, but next week I'm going to try one on Sunday morning, 10:30. Okay. Really? Do you have a separate channel? Or I didn't know that. Let me know what it is. Drop it in the chat. Samurai Jack is a great cartoon. Oh yeah, Samurai Jack is brilliant. Yeah, I used to watch that on the Cartoon Network. So good. It's so good. Oh, good. Islamic recommends it. Ghost Dog, or even, Hagakure, or The Book of Five Rings. Interesting for sure. And Samurai Champloo. How could I forget that? Samurai Champloo by the same makers of... oh, God. Gray's brain's gone blank. Come on, guys. Help me out. What's it called? Jesus. Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop. Samurai Champloo and Space Dandy by the same makers. Favourite samurai movies? Sword of Doom, Kill, Zatoichi's Revenge, Lady Snowblood. Oh, mate, you dropped some great titles there. Have you seen the Zatoichi where Beat Takeshi? Is that one? Is that one or a different one? Beat Takeshi's in it, and they do a big like dance number in the middle of it. He plays a blind swordsman. Zatoichi, the one you fear. Hey, the one you fear. How you doing? Welcome. How you doing, man? Friend of Nosferatu, friend of the channel. Shinichiro Watanabe. Okay, that sounds cool. No way. Okay, let's go back to the the book cover. Where are we? Come on, Gray, you can do it. I'm trying to multitask and my brain is not working. My brain is not working at the same time. So let's put Hagakure back on. So yeah, very interesting book. Let's do another random page turn and see. Very short one here. Master Ite said, if one were to say what it is to do good in a single word, it would be to endure suffering. Not enduring is bad without exception. I endured some suffering yesterday. All my own fault, of course. The drink had me on Saturday night. Nosferatu's endured some suffering, hasn't he, recently? I hope you're feeling better. I think that's Zatoichi meets Yojimbo. Okay, nice one. Nice one. I haven't seen... Oh, speaking of Yojimbo, another good Kurosawa film. Great. Very funny as well. Mifune. Is it Toshiro? Toshiro Mifune was a brilliant actor, wasn't he? He was perfect in Kurosawa's movies. I've just found a documentary on him on Amazon Prime Japan. So I don't know about the States. Amazon Prime Japan, but it's in Japanese, of course, and you can't get English subtitles. It's so annoying. So annoying that. I don't know why. Well, because it's Japan, I guess, but it's rare that you get English subtitles. I've mentioned that before. Netflix Japan do it sometimes, but not with everything. So a lot of the anime, the classic stuff, I've got to watch it in Japanese. So what I do is my listening's pretty good, so I can get most of it, but I don't get everything, being honest. And I put Japanese subtitles on as well. So even though I can't read that many kanji, I can still kind of get the general meaning from it. Because the thing about kanji is, this is why Japanese people I don't know if you know, they can read very fast, read books so quickly, because the kanji, just looking at the kanji, you get the general impression of what the sentence is going to mean. But the trick with kanji, or the tricky thing with kanji, is that one kanji can have 3, 4, 5 different readings, depending on the sentence, the structure. It's like, oh my God, so it's like, what? You think you're going to learn the kanji, it's like one meaning. No, they've got 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that's why I kind of gave up in the end. I was studying. When I first got over here, I couldn't read or write. I could only understand a very, very minimum amount of Japanese. Just like, hello, konnichiwa, and arigato, and daijobu. I used to use that all the time. Daijobu means, are you okay? Or like, it's okay, daijobu. Daijobu? Daijobu. And then I taught myself, hiragana, then katakana, and then started doing kanji, starting from elementary school, first grade. That's where they start learning it. So, you start learning with like ichi, 1, 2, 3, things like river, mountain, the very simple ones. But I couldn't stick with it. Just a lazy arsehole, aren't I? I was too busy like reading English books instead, or, reading comics, killing brain cells with reading comics and watching football and watching movies. Okay. I don't retain knowledge from audiobooks for the most part. I usually have to actually read a book for it to stick with me. Yeah, you've got to really focus, haven't you? Because I listen to audiobooks when I'm driving to work. I know it's not the best thing because you kind of relax, don't you, when you drive? I don't know. Of course I'm focused on driving, but sometimes I find myself I'm switching off from the book. It's like, oh, what happened? I have to go back and like replay the last 30 seconds or last minute. I can watch vintage samurai movies all night. Yeah, the Islamic. Cool, mate. Oh, thanks for dropping in. I appreciate it, and thanks for the titles in the chat. I'm familiar with them, but I haven't seen all of them, so I'm going to check those out when I watch this on replay to make notes and stuff. Cool. Let's go back to you guys and girls. I'm going to write Hagakure down and order it soon. As I say, it's not, like amazing, not mind-blowing, but it's just interesting. And as you can see, they're very short, just short little pieces, passages. So you can dip in and out of it. The same with the Book of Five Rings. But that's more about strategy. Yeah. And says the subtitles are often not up to par. Yeah, I can guess that. Is that you're talking about anime or generally from movies too? My wife says that when we watch stuff together sometimes she'll, because she'll be listening to the English and then she sees the Japanese and she's like, whoa, they just completely translated that, like a different meaning than what they actually meant. The kind of meaning was off or something. But yeah. I listen to audiobooks over and over again. Yeah, give my eyes a rest. Do you know, the problem I've found is as I've got older and older, is like, especially after work, because I think it's just because you're tired. But if I start reading, about 10 minutes, I'm okay. 15 minutes, start to nod. Oh, Jesus, I'm going to sleep, turning into my old dad or my old mum. Oh no. So I do enjoy audiobooks for that. And like, yeah, as I say, I've got a 30-minute commute one way, so 1 hour, two-way. Yeah, it's an hour every day. Well, Monday to Friday when I'm working, so I can get through an audiobook, pretty quickly. But yeah, I do re-listen to them. The one I've listened to the most is Dune. Dune's great on audiobook. I recommend it if you haven't listened to it. They do music, a little bit of music, and they have different voices. It's really good. The first one especially. Dune Messiah. I read the book first and then I listened to the audiobook of Dune Messiah, and it's not as good, the audiobook, unfortunately. They stopped the music, didn't do that. They reduced the number of voice actors, because money, right? Expensive. At the moment, I've got one more recommendation before I finish. I'm listening to Andy Serkis. Circus, is it Serkis? Andy Serkis, yeah, the guy who played Gollum. Reading The Two Towers, and also he's done The Return of the King. He's done them all. He's done The Fellowship, but I already own The Fellowship audiobook, and that was by the old guy, Rob. Is it Rob Ingles? Something like that. And it's good, but it's a bit, sounds like an Oxford professor, that kind of thing, that kind of talk. So Andy Serkis is brilliant. He does all the voices, as you can imagine, and they sound different at times. You're like, no way. So great voice actor. The only thing I will say about Two Towers is, I don't even remember the chapter on Treebeard. When is it Pippin and Merry? They find him in the forest, or he finds them, and it's a long chapter anyway. But mate, Andy Serkis he's talking Treebeard slowly like this. Really slowly, and he does all the songs, like Treebeard songs. Let's just go on and on. I put it on higher speed, of course, for the Treebeard things, but it took ages to get through that chapter. Sorry, Andy, it's not a criticism at you. It's just, even at normal speed, that chapter's long. But apart from that chapter, everything else has been great so far. I'm about halfway through it, so I'm getting close to the Frodo and Sam section, when it switches halfway through and you catch up with them, and then Gollum comes into it. Can't wait. Okay, what time is it? Oh, it's 6:07 a.m, so I'm going to have to start getting ready for work. I'm going to finish the stream in a couple of secs. Let's see. Just before I go, let me get the chat. Thank you so much for watching. It's brilliant to see you here. Is there any gaijin anime or manga in Japan, like some stereotypical American action hero character that's popular? I don't think so. No. I'm trying to think. I don't know if they watch it. I'll have to ask. I'll ask around at school, with the junior high school, the teenagers and stuff, and ask them if they're familiar with any of the foreign anime. People love Disney, of course, the Disney animation, but I don't know about a series. That's right. I'll check it out. The Islamic. I was a production artist for Tokyo Pop back in the day, and was lucky enough to retouch a few pages of Samurai Champloo. No way. That's brilliant. I love Samurai Champloo. Ah, cool, man. Did you used to live in Japan, or? I'm not sure. Did you visit Japan? Yeah? Or wow, that's so cool. What happens is they give the Japanese issues to American translators. So sometimes the language gets a bit clunky. Yeah, you always get stuff lost in translation, don't you? Always. That can't be helped. Sometimes, it's rare that it comes across, but there's a word in Japanese which you just can't translate. It's weird, a word or even a saying or a phrase, and it's like it loses its. If you do a direct translation, it loses its meaning. Can't think of anything at the moment because a bit adult. Oh, thanks, Nasratu. Yeah, kill the bots. The Islamic, that's fucking awesome. Yeah, it is, mate. That's brilliant. And Nasratu, Andy Serkis' best role is obviously Snoke. Poor Snoke. What a way to go. Definitely a fun time. Have a good day. Thanks, Aram. Okay, guys, as I say, I'm going to finish the stream now. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in a future stream, future video. I'm going to keep the chat on for a bit when this goes off, so just drop a message in if you want. And yeah, I'm thinking about trying to make this regular. If you're interested, what do you think? It's Monday morning, so it has to be a short stream, like 30, 35 minutes, 40 at the most. But if I can do it regularly, it means getting up early, falling asleep at work later on lunchtime. I'll be like this on my desk, lunch break. Oh, trying to sneak a little sleep, a little nap, a power nap. The Putin bots are attacking. Yeah, thanks, Nosferatu. Thanks for taking those out. And the Islamic says, I've never been to Japan. This was at the American headquarters. Okay, in Los Angeles, LA. Nice one, mate. Cool. Well, I recommend it. If ever this crazy, current, the living with the coof, these crazy times ever finally finish, which hopefully they will this year, cautiously optimistic, you should come over sometime. If you can, it's a great, great place to visit. Tokyo is just mad. In all the best ways. I also recommend Kyoto for the history. Beautiful Kyoto, I love it. Okay, later guys. Later Wakizashi. Later Wakizashi. Thanks Islamic. Thanks Nosferatu. Thanks everyone. And you take care. So what do I do now? Go like this.